Alright, we got a reaction video. First one for the channel. So we have got a player from Colombia here, I believe. Let me turn that down. That was Jeremy Lefevre. That's finance. Okay, so they make their move pretty quickly. We're doing the opening very quickly here. We can fast forward once we get to a time where either of us is taking too long. Okay, so that's standard. I take there. I'm trying to gain this right here. Let me change my cursor next time. Guys, they come up, they take. I come up, I threaten. This isn't a terrible opening. I don't know what I could have done. You know, you want your opponents to make mistakes in the open, so you find out what's the opening that you think that the opponents at your level are going to make the mistakes at, and that's if you have a good fact-based knowledge of all of the openings. If you don't have a good knowledge of every opening, just stick to one and try and get to end games and see how far you get in ratings by doing that. Just by winning as white and then just trying to draw as black, and then you're going to find that you're not really ever trying to draw, because you're almost always going to be in a situation where you're really winning. But sometimes you get into a situation where the other opponent has a higher rating than you, then you're going to try and draw. So what did I do for my queen in front of the king here? I'm going to threaten this pawn in the middle on e5, because I've got the knight and I've got the queen trying to attack it. So they got to bolster it. And I'm just saying, what if they don't do that? Then maybe knight takes knight. Maybe get into this long situation here. So there's the most likely defense of it. So what should we do here? This is the most likely defense. What do we do in this situation? Should I bring my knight here to b5 and pressure this bishop? Then the pawn would take, and you'd have two pawns in the center. I'd have one pawn in the center. What about threatening the queen here? Bishop to f5, g5. g5, they close it off with the pawn. Queen's not going to take, or the queen can come forward. If the queen comes forward, I don't think that's the best move to make. Do I just castle here? I mean, I would just castle and keep thinking about it. But after we castle, we're still gonna have to make a decision of some. So do I move the bishop to e3? From e3, we just block, start forming a shell, then castle, maybe get the rook out onto e1, pressure the king side. The king will probably castle by then, and they'll have their rook out. Do I want a boring opening and just try and maneuver from there? It's kind of like a 16 to 1800s level thing to draw in these situations. Don't exactly know how it's done, because I did look at it once. So I'm going to take one of these, or alright, so what did we do there? We move the bishop out. I move the bishop out, forget about castling. Forget about putting the bishop on e3, forming a shell. I come out, and this was a mistake. Well, I just castle out of it. Now, I'm moving too much, or I should just know that bishop has to come back. Where does the bishop want to go? Let's not get aggressive here. Let's see if the bishop, let's not get aggressive here, because the queen is blocking the king. And now we realize that. And now we realize the blunder. Oh, I didn't think one extra move ahead because I needed to the most relevant piece in that situation is the bishop. The bishop is the most relevant. Okay, let's pause this. Yeah, I'm doing all this. Actually, forget those lines. Bishop G5, pressure the queen, and then come back to H4. We get 2 pawns coming up. Then we might retreat to G3, putting pressure again on this pawn. That pawn can come forward, take with the pawn, take with the knight. Then we might have something going there. Move the queen out of the way. If they check the king, just move the king. It's not a big deal. But we did. Why did we do that? Can anyone guess? So, at some point, look at this. At some point here, they take castle. Castle. This was my plan here. Take, get the queen to F1, and the queen to G2. Then this pawn would be guarding it here on F3. Yeah, I gotta put this in an editor so that I can draw lines now. But anyway, we just skip ahead here. Because we made a mistake. They clog that up. There goes my plan. I go into a shell now, putting the knight forward there. Then check. King moves out. We get eventually into this situation. None of these situations have happened. So, if I look at these, there's no them. The situations are one-offs, and you'll see them again when you're a grandmaster. You'll see them again, and that's that.